AX, you've been in a swamp before. Well, your D&D character has. That's where you discovered a previously thought extinct species. Oh, she just nuzzled my microphone. Good thing I got that on camera. You're being recorded. Oh, I said that she wanted to get down so fast.
Welcome, one and all, to World in a Jar. We are your hosts, Kyoko and Vale. Our goal is to take a word, concept, or idea and spin it into a story. Be it a character, NPC, group, city, you name it. And thus, those ideas we create become our World in a Jar. Of course, they won't all fit in the same jar, so our selection is constantly growing each week. With many spices to choose from, locations, genres, heroes, villains, and tropes, we hope to give you a jar filled with fun and interesting concepts. But first, how are you doing, Kyoko?
I'm pretty good. Mostly just been relaxing today, so nothing much. Nothing much going on. How about
Nice. Feeling just as good as last episode.
you? That's
Maybe
awesome.
even a little better.
You've had some snacks.
Yeah, I've had some snacks. I've had 2 donuts and I think 3 Slim Jims.
3 snack-sized
So
Slim Jims, it matters.
Fit for a king.
Girl dinner!
Girl dinner. Girl dinner.
But yeah, so what are we doing today?
We are doing something a little different again.
Ooh. We do a lot of things different.
We're constantly evolving. We are designing characters that will adventure in our previous hosts, or in our other hosts. Wow. Oh my god, I'm blanking. Chris, put in the train of thought. Okay, it's back. We don't need the train of thought anymore, Chris. We are designing characters that will play in each other's swamp that we designed last episode.
Ooh. Which means that you get to make a character for my swamp cult versus non-swamp cult alligator folk, with Swamp Thulu, as we called him. I get to make a character for your swamp treehouse dwelling elves who are being overrun by this professor researching a cure-all herb.
Definitely. So yeah, I was taking some pretty big notes last episode, as you may have seen me buffering a couple times. So that way we have all the words and all the ideas that we were both spinning.
Yeah.
But yeah. Do you have any idea what class you might want to play, or are you leaving it to the words?
Well, we all know I could just default the bard. But I think I'm gonna
If you do that, I'm doing a paladin.
I think I might leave it to the words. See if the words give me any inspiration for like a specific class or anything like that. I don't think I'm gonna decide race, because like, while racial abilities matter, I don't feel like they would play too much of a difference in this, so I'm just gonna go class for my character. It can be whatever race.
Yeah. So yeah, who gets the first words?
First off, what level do we want these characters to be? Because that can really decide things for subclass.
What level do you think your adventure is?
Well,
How big of a threat is Swamp Thulu?
I say we could probably do like a mid-level campaign for like level 12. Why don't we say level 12?
Sure thing.
So you get your big
'Cause I was
level
thinking-
10 subclass feature, but you don't get your next ASI yet.
Mm-hmm. Well, 12 you do get an ASI.
Oh, you're right. Look.
So 11 then?
Yeah, let's say 11. Yeah.
Oh, so we got 6 level spells.
Yeah, we do. Is Vale gonna make another wizard? Who knows?
I refuse to make a wizard until I play a wizard. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Alright. Would you like heads or tails?
I will take tails.
I immediately dropped the quarter. It's tails!
Wait, so it's me?
Yeah, it's you!
Oh man.
Did you not want to
I
go
li-
first?
No, this is the second time I've forgotten what I called.
Amazing.
Okay. I could really feel that train of thought right now.
Bam, 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 bam.
Our words, or my words, are our words. Defend and reasonable.
Mm.
So both those words scream fighter to me, like fighter or paladin.
I was gonna say paladin.
Oop.
Oop.
We're doing it. We get one single oop.
And whoop.
I wonder if there's any way I could take it differently. Because defend also gives me barbarian.
Gives like martial class, essentially.
Because barbarians are the best tanks in the game.
Yeah, they are.
Imagine a caster class being defend, though. Which caster class would be the most defensive?
Cleric, honestly.
Oh yeah, so there are. There's a cleric subclass for anything.
Yeah, there is. I mean, just
You've got
also
healer,
in
you've
general,
got damage.
cleric is like the tank of the casters.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think cleric and druid can both tank pretty well.
That is true, but cleric and
Druids
druid
would-
are very similar to each other.
Mm-hmm.
Like wizards
Clerics
and
get better
sorcerers are
AC.
glass cannons.
Clerics get better AC. Druids have more HP through wild shapes.
That is true. That is true.
But yeah, mark me down as going paladin.
Now, are you a paladin? Which side are you defending? The swamp Thulu cult, or the non-cult matriarchy?
I think this character gravitates towards the matriarchy.
Mm.
I'm gonna say this character sees Swamp Thulu as an otherworldly threat, so maybe it's like an Oath of the Watchers paladin. So no matter what, they're going to oppose Swamp Thulu as like an interloper in the world and sees the capacity of evil that Swamp Thulu can do.
Ooh.
And so his character is sworn to destroy it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking they're gonna be lawful good. I don't know about. We don't really need to talk about worship. Well, for a paladin, maybe we do. Paladins don't always have to worship someone, but The bland, boring option is like, yeah, he serves the god of justice. I feel like I need... Well, because he's reasonable. He can reason with the other side. I think that's a conflict right there, is that one side worships Swamp Thulu, but then also has a better system to designate their leaders than in the matriarchy.
Mm-hmm.
Where the matriarchy is just this royal line of lizard folk that are probably bigger and stronger than each other, or at least started out that way.
Mm-hmm.
I think they can see the other side and say they are worshiping Swamp Thulu because they want a different form of rulership. They want it to be based on merit and not lineage.
Mm.
But then also by merit, they're choosing who gets the most powers from Swamp Thulu. So I think those words bring in the character conflict. The character could worship anyone.
Mm-hmm.
I think as a defender, as a reasonable defender. We don't see it too often. Why don't we choose a paladin of the god of knowledge? We, like, the paladins are always like upstanding citizens of serving the god of justice or battle or war. Oath of the Ancients is, even though it's player's handbook, it's a little more niche than the others, serving the wilderness.
Yeah,
but
serving your
I think-
ancestors. Or no, not your ancestors.
I
but,
think-
you know. Yeah.
I think we don't see like intelligence paladins enough, or well-read paladins enough.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think he's partly reasonable because they're partly reasonable because they are, one of their missions is to collect knowledge.
Yeah.
And I think that tracks with Oath of the Watchers as well, is that you're constantly learning new information about pretty much the grand scheme of things, is the whole cosmic entities. And yeah, that's where that sentence ended.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a pretty bare bones assortment of character traits for this character. I wonder if I can imagine a flaw for them, though. I like to imagine someone's flaw is always talking until someone else bears their weapon.
Mm-hmm.
So like they constantly get into arguments and they never back down even when they're wrong until it comes to blows.
Mm-hmm.
And so just like through that, like having weird hills to die on and just being so argumentative that it coming face to face with the enemy, I don't think they will ever choose the option of surprise. They will always choose the option of convincing the enemy, especially when the enemy remains unconvincible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like a paladin that tries to put what is supposed to be their highest stat, charisma, to work, and it doesn't work.
Right. Like, you can't just choose this person who is in power to give up their power in return to the person that will probably kill them for trying to usurp them. But you sure as hell can try. And you sure as hell can give the enemy the first drop
Mm-hmm.
against the party while you do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Maybe that's just the flaw of the character, is talks too much. Too eager to share everything they know, and too eager to try and convince people that they should know won't be convinced.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's about all I have to say.
Yeah, maybe that even like puts them sort of in like sort of like a sore situation, or even in like a sort of like wibbly, like uneven situation with the matriarch of the crocodilian people. Because maybe like this paladin is like preaching a little too much to them, like to her, and she's just like, either go fix this problem or I kill you on the spot.
Right.
She's like, go and fix this or get the hell out or I will kill you.
Right.
And the party's just like, all right, come on, Shouty McNubs, come on.
I think, come on, Grandpa, let's get you to
Come on, Grandpa, take your medicine.
Oh, and then the cult. How many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man?
How many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man? I love the young people.
That should be on the bingo card, people. SpongeBob reference.
SpongeBob, absolutely. I'll have to make another bingo card.
We should have multiple bingo cards rolling.
Yeah.
Just so, like, choose a bingo card and stick with it and see if you get bingo this episode.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think the best slap in the face that this paladin could suffer is like the matriarch talking to the matriarch, and he's like, you know, I really do see where your other side is coming from, and while I respect your authority, absolutely, but I also think authority should be handed on a basis of merit. And then she just whips, like, just slaps him in the face with her words, do you think I don't deserve this position?
Yeah, she's just like, she's just like, you think I didn't, like, earn this position fairly and not through just lineage? And then he's just like, and then the party has to drag him away. Because we're sorry, ma'am, you got this, we know you earned this position, like, you're fine, we will help, we'll remove him from your presence.
It's just like, one, she says that and it's like casting Feeble Mind.
Damn, his mind do be kind of feeble.
His mind do be kind of feeble.
Like, he's trying so hard to help, but his words insinuate a lot. I feel like it could be, in some situations, his words insinuate a lot more than he actually means, and that he puts his own foot in his mouth, basically.
Yeah.
Unintentionally.
I.e. almost every Vale character ever. I think of a conversation that I hold for every character I play when I was playing the Revengelist, of one of the players describing, so what happens when you break a pot? You have to put it back together. Yeah, but what happens to the pot once you put it all together? It's a pot? No, it's not the same as it ever was. And you can glue every single piece back into there, but all of those pieces are broken, and you can't properly put it back together again. Now think of that every time you want to tell someone something they shouldn't need to know yet. The Revengelist. Every one of my characters is kind of a blabbermouth, but the Revengelist had that moment where he like said something to someone who didn't need to know what we were doing.
Yeah.
And so this paladin is very much that archetype as well, where they're like preachy and trying to play both sides, so that way everyone comes out on top.
Mm-hmm.
To the point where things get said that can't be unsaid.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, I think that's a decent place to hold off for the trope now.
Yeah, I approve. I approve of this character.
Huh. I think I know which subclass you're gonna use.
Is it Bard?
Oh wait, no, this isn't a Paladin episode. No, I think I know which class you're going to use.
Okay.
Your words are crown and nature.
Who says I can't make a bard with these words?
A nature bard.
Exactly. Bards are literally jacks of all trades. No, I'm not gonna make a bard. But druid is just 2 on the nose.
You could go with the Ancient's Paladin.
No, I don't want to make a paladin. I might make a nature cleric. So we talked about nature clerics before. And I feel like... nature cleric might be good. There's no Circle of the Swamp druid yet.
There is.
Oh my god, you're... Holy shit, you're right. I just don't have it on D&D Beyond.
There's Circle of the Land, which you can designate to be the swamp. They don't have Circle of the Land on D&D Beyond.
I haven't bought it yet. I have to buy it.
It's like Player's Handbook 1.
I do have it. Oh yeah, Circle of the Land. Here it is. See, swamp. What do you get for swamp?
I played a lizard folk Circle of the Swamp druid. That was my first 5e character for an in-person game. He was fun.
This is kind of boring.
He didn't.
In my opinion.
What you think? You think Melf's acid arrow is boring?
Well, I mean, look. Spells not withholding, but the subclass features are boring.
Hold on, let me look it back up.
Because Nature's Ward, when you reach level 10, you can't be charmed or frightened by elementals or fae, and you're immune to poison and disease. That's just boring. For a subclass feature? That could be like anybody gets that. But I mean, if you want to play Circle of the Land Druid, that's fine.
I mean, they take Druid on a more wizard level where you get natural recovery, which is like arcane recovery, and then you also get a bonus cantrip.
Yeah.
So they're the spell-focused Druid.
That might be why I find it kind of boring.
Not much of a spellcaster, are you?
Look, I'm a bard. We can do everything. I'm a spellcaster that I'm not a combat-focused spellcaster. I'm a support caster. I'm back here slinging healing spells at all of y'all when y'all do stupid shit. I'm over here learning mass heal at 9th level so we can get a total of 700 hit points back. And then also learning counterspell. But I think I'll go Nature Domain Cleric, and they are a cleric that lives and works within the like larger elven community. They're the ones that the professor like lived in, like their community is like the one that the professor like lived and worked within until he was kicked out. So this cleric is like deeply aware of what the professor is doing. And I would say sort of like leads the charge against the professor when he comes back to like find more of these plants and things like that.
Oh, and that's an interesting character dynamic, is that your character is the one probably in the elf settlement that's like, yeah, we can send our priest with you to help you study our ecosystem. We've got a very complex ecosystem, and whatever you can find, we can use too. And then he finds the most sacred thing in the swamp, and your cleric's like, no, you're not using this.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
And it could even
all my people hate you now.
Exactly. And it could even be like using the word crown, that this cleric has like a very, very like lofty position in the like elven governmental system, elven hierarchy. Whether it be like actual royalty or if it's just like a governmental system and this like religious person is being held in very high regard. Because you need someone with knowledge of nature to be able to help like a people settle and navigate the swamp and things like that.
Right.
So crown could be literal, figurative, whatever. But yeah, I do like that idea of this cleric was one of the people that was like very intimately aware of what the professor was doing in their research and what the professor is doing now with searching to acquire more of these plants. So
protection from poison is a cleric's second level spell.
Yeah.
And that would be very useful in the swamp.
Exactly. And I mean, clerics, this nature domain cleric's channel divinity at level 2 was called Charm Animals and Plants. I accidentally scrolled up. As an action, you present your holy symbol and invoke the name of your deity. Each beast or plant creature that can see you within 30 feet of you must make a wisdom save. If they fail, they're charmed for a minute or until they take damage, things like that. At level 6, they have dampen elements. When you or a creature within 30 feet of you takes acid, cold, fire, lightning, or thunder damage, you can use your reaction to grant resistance to the creature instead. Grant resistance to the creature against that instance of the damage. So it doesn't help with poison, but it helps with acid, and that could be something that could be really useful against, like, depending on the flora that's in the area.
Man, we were talking about Miyazaki's poison swamps.
Exactly.
I also had an idea that kind of centralizes the character in their role. What if the sacred flower is poisonous?
Yeah.
So like it cures a disease, it heals the wounds on your body, and it removes curses, but none of that actually talks about poison. In which you would need the cleric administering like the holy tea to cast protection from poison on you, so that way you're not afflicted.
Yeah, absolutely. Or even like you need the cleric there to cast lesser restoration to rid the body of poison, things like that. Like you need to have a strong spellcaster there that has access to these healing spells for the purpose of actually like surviving and getting through the environment, and the professor takes full advantage of that. Yeah, I really like that.
Yeah, I'm I'm a big fan of that. What's their flaw?
I would say their flaw. My favorite thing for someone like this who is definitely being like used and manipulated by someone is that they're very quick to anger. Especially post manipulation and use of like being used. So this cleric, I would say, at first is like very like is as level head as you could be, in like a very stressful situation like this, having to lead an outsider in your environment around and have them be as safe as possible. And then when the cleric finds out that this person is now endangering their environment, their community, they're very quick to anger. Like, they're almost rash and impulsive at this point with, like, how they react about the professor, how they react to the professor. And it's up to them, like, getting back in touch with their deity and, like, really, like, doing some introspection and things like that to really calm themselves. But, like, especially before, like, a final fight or something.
Definitely.
I think that's where I'm gonna leave it until the trope.
All right. So yeah, we'll see you on trope time.
All right, trope time.
All right, trope time.
Trope time.
Who's going first?
Would you like heads or tails?
I would like tails again.
Are you gonna remember you picked tails this time?
I did consciously make a note, yes.
Because it's tails.
Wait,
It's
is that me?
tails.
All right. Oh man, I didn't want to get into race. But the trope is called Orc Raised by Elves.
Oh my, see, that would have worked best if you were making one in your world.
Yeah.
In your swamp.
You can take it if you want, otherwise I've got some ideas.
No, go for it, go for it.
Okay. So Orc Paladin's pretty half-orc paladin is pretty brutal, isn't it? With the savage
Yeah.
attack or critical or whatever it is.
Oh yeah, savage critical. Yeah.
And then just busting a smite on top of that. So orc raised by elves is the opposite of raised by orcs. In that trope, someone who is from a good group is raised by villains. This is the opposite, a member of the bad or always chaotic evil group being raised by a good or always lawful good group. So I think I don't want to go with typical orcs. I always hate typical orcs. I don't want to just make a chaotic evil race. I just think that the orcs are a little less refined than the elves, like to the point where one side thinks they're pompous and one side thinks they're garish.
Yeah. Which typically happens with elves versus other races in a lot of external media.
But like this could be like even a half orc, half elf. So they were raised by their elven parent. And that could play into their worship as well. Like the greater deity of the elven pantheon, Corellin, or Corellon, however you pronounce it, is also a god of magic as well as being the god of the pantheon.
Yeah.
And so they were raised, and this is what kind of gives them of course, a lot of the personality of this character, now that I'm thinking about it, is very stereotypical elven, just like pompous, never shuts up, always acts with this air of intellectual superiority, and like for someone.
Yeah, and then they put their foot in their mouth.
Yeah, and then they put their foot in their mouth. But this also gives them a tie-in with the magic that they worship, worshiping the god of like knowledge or magic. That I think helps define like, yes, they've got a brutal streak whenever they're fighting, but they also don't come quickly to fighting. Like, they're not a barbarian, they're a refined paladin that tries to talk and will not stop trying until he can recognize that it fails.
Yeah, until he's forced to recognize that it's not going to work.
Because orc gods are typically like gods of battle and whatnot. Gods of battle or destruction.
Oh, we love Grumsh.
We love Grumsh.
We love Grumsh, the orc god of death.
And that's funny because Grumsh's eye was taken by Corellin in lore.
Oh. See, the only reference I have for Grumsh is that the Orc Barbarian and Mithras campaign, Dirk, communed with Grumsh one time and got a boon from him during a war that included Dirk's clan. And then Dirk got like a tattoo from Grumsh so he could call on the power of Grumsh at any time. And our Michael, the player, got to pick where he put the tattoo. He put it specifically on Dirk's left ass cheek. So we could see when it lit up at any point really through his pants. Then we kept making a joke that he should get another eye tattoo on the other ass cheek. But that's my reference for growth.
It would be interesting if this character raised by elves, like if it's in that same pantheon, Corellin taking Grumsh's eye, so now he's called Grumsh One Eye. It'd be interesting if in his religion he is forced to wear an eye patch all the time to kind of respect where his people came from.
Yeah.
While also worshiping the other god.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think that gives them further purpose for their mission with this swamp, which is to kind of help everyone avoid descending into savagery and chaos and destruction. They're trying to find a peaceful way out in their flawed way.
Yeah.
And of course, I think this ultimately culminates in we're going to have to beat up whoever stands in our way, and we're going to kill Swamp Thulu.
Hell yeah.
Classic JRPG killing god, or on something on the same level as a god.
Absolutely.
I just thought of Lavos from Chrono Trigger. I'm trying my best not to talk about Chrono Trigger right now. I can't let the bingo card fulfill.
Not this week.
Not this week. Next week.
Next week, maybe. It still hurts.
Yeah, R.I.P. Akira Toriyama. But yeah, I think that's a decent place to keep my character.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh man, yours is kind of out of left field.
I'm ready.
Yours is the bully.
Ooh, interesting.
The super trope of jerk jock, alpha bitch, and other bully characters. This is the schoolyard bully all grown up in his heyday. The guy who gave you wedgies and tied you to a flagpole. The girl who humiliated you in front of the entire school and broke your self-confidence on your first day in. In Western animation, it's required by law for the bully to refer to his victims by last name only, because, well, you're not exactly their friend.
Oh, that's really cool. First thing that comes to mind is that this cleric isn't necessarily the most, like, the nicest person, but due to their, like, status in their community, they just get away with it.
They have the...
Really. And the bullying is seen as being, like, willed by God. Willed by their nature god.
It's like the opposite of the kid getting bullied going, I have the power of God and anime on my side. Now that kid is the bully.
Exactly. Yeah. Absolutely. And it's like, it sort of gives this cleric like this like pompous sort of air around them, just in the fact that like they have a position of power. And yeah, they're nice and like accommodating to outsiders like the professor at first. But to the people within the community, sometimes they're not the nicest. I wouldn't say all the time they're not the nicest, because they are there to serve their community as a cleric of their god.
I'm thinking this character's dream when the professor goes against the religion is to give him a wedgie and then hold person.
No.
So they just get stuck.
Give him a swirly and then hold person.
Oh, that's just like fancy drowning.
This is drowning somebody. That's fancy waterboarding.
That's drowning with extra steps.
But in a swamp toilet. Ew. It's like when we gave a guy a swirly in that hole for a toilet. In the wine shot.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
We had that fight in the fucking 5x5 hallway in the fucking bathroom.
My God, the wine shot was wild.
The wine shot was so good. I tricked a dragon into signing an NDA. But yeah, like, so this cleric can be classified as a bully. I don't want to fully say that they are a bully to everyone in their community, because like I said, they are there as an agent of their god.
They might take their frustrations of the professor out on the party at some points as part of their flawed way of life.
Yeah, especially after they're like used by the professor. Like I said, they're very quick to anger, so it could be like their anger is manifested in multiple different ways, and one of them could be lashing out against a party member. Like, let's say a party member like does like a jab, like a fun little quip to get a quick ha-ha from the cleric, and the cleric takes it the completely wrong way.
Vicious mockery time. The cleric responds with a vicious mockery.
The cleric responds with a heat metal. But yeah, it's like this like, it comes along with the cleric being like very rash and impulsive and very like quick to anger, not really like thinking through their reactions very much. And then their redemption could come from reconnecting with their god and like having a conversation, like the god being like, hey, this isn't okay. Like, the way you're acting is just gonna make the plants around you mad at you, and you don't want them against you.
Right.
So their god is just like, you need to get your shit together, or I'm gonna like, or you're not gonna be my cleric anymore. And the cleric's just like, oh shit, I'm gonna like lose what makes me me. I can't do that. So they do like some reflection and things like that. They apologize to people except for the professor, because the professor needs to get his fucking old shit rocked.
I just thought of a weird out there rhyme for this character. I'm the nature cleric. I speak for the trees, and the trees tell you to get on your knees.
I am the Lorax. I speak for the trees. The trees say shut the fuck up. I love that. I love the Lorax meme.
That might be the episode title. Get on your knees for the trees.
No, the title was gonna be Swamp Bottom. Back in the bayou.
No, the title should be Swamp Swirlies.
Swamp Swirlies, oh no. Swamp Swirlies bully in the bayou.
I think that's the one. That's the one.
Heck yeah. But honestly, I think that's where I'm gonna leave it, because there's not really a lot to do with the bully for a cleric. I mean, I don't see this cleric being lawful good in any sense. I see them being closer to neutral good at best, and then chaotic neutral at worst.
Yeah. But yeah, I think I don't really have much else to add either.
Well, I think this is a good place to seal up these jars and put them on the market. If you like this show or need any ideas, you can find us on Twitter at worldsinjars or email us at worldinajar1@gmail.com. And if you need any help with like world building or anything, need a consult, anything like that, or just want some fun ideas, someone to throw things around with, shoot us an email or shoot us a message on Twitter.
Absolutely. Email, message us on Twitter, tag us on Twitter. We're open to all forms of communication.
Absolutely. Well, all right, everyone. Do something good for yourself, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.
This episode was edited by Chris at Chris Rogers VO on Twitter. Go check him out.
We love you, Chris.
We love you, Chris. Bye.
Bye.